So the big thing going on in WWE right now is obviously the return of AJ Lee. When she showed up on SmackDown, it was the worst kept secret in the company and thus far, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it went over really well, and I'm excited to see what they do at the Palooza, the big WrestlePalooza, ladies and gentlemen. That's coming up in just a few weeks, but today we are going to have some fun together because we're going to talk about what could be the plan for AJ Lee now that she is back with the company. I would love to see a lot of different superstars obviously go up against AJ Lee to see what kind of stories they could tell, what kind of matches they could have. And I'm curious how she is going to be in the ring against Becky Lynch in the promo and the breakdown, beatdown segment we got on SmackDown. I thought it went very well. And I was happy for CM Punk, honestly, to see the look on his face, and you saw some backstage stuff too. He looked genuinely happy and excited for his wife. So how can you blame the guy? So let's talk about who AJ Lee could face in WWE maybe this year going all the way to WrestleMania. My name is Matt. Welcome to Assemble. Thank you so much for being here. If you end up enjoying this video, do me a favor and do the free thing, which is hit that like button, subscribe button. So WrestlePalooza we know is going to be a mixed tag team match. Excited for this thing. I want to see how it turns out. I kind of think the good guys are going to go over here, but we got CM Punk, AJ Lee teaming up together to take on the other husband and wife duo, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. This Palooza is being built pretty big because it's going to be the debut on ESPN. So you got Brock out there just calling Cena the B word.
WrestlePalooza, bitch.
It's going to be a big show, but it can't just be this one and done. And it seems like we saw some backstage things, maybe you did too, where AJ Lee did sign the Triple H contract, and he's all like, hey, you're part of the game now, and just point my finger at you. So after the Palooza, I don't think they will necessarily be done with AJ and Becky. I think they can actually break this off into a larger feud, but I think her initial return run, I think is going to be wrapped up with Punk and the husband and wives fighting it out. So Palooza, mixed tag team match, then we move on to Crown Jewel. I would have a feeling Crown Jewel, I don't really know what they're going to put together overall. I think they'll pull off something, but if it's going to be a 5-6 match card and they're doing this in Australia, they're going to want some heavy hitters. And I think one match they could do is the first one-on-one match that AJ Lee gets, and it would be against Becky Lynch. Now here's the thing. I don't think that you would end up having AJ Lee go over in that match. You assume we're just gonna have her beat everybody. I think what could be cool is having AJ go up against Becky one-on-one for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at Crown Jewel, but you end up having Becky retain. You want to have AJ showcased here and being able to see what she can do in a straight up one-on-one, because the tag team stuff is great because you're kind of protected and they don't have to go in there and rest 12 minutes straight. Go up against Becky in a 10-15 minute match, people go crazy, but the way you do it is you walk the finish. You get Seth Rollins to come out, get involved, Punk tries to even the odds too, and then it all ends up in a schmaz, DQ finish, Becky ends up retaining, so you get the heels to get over, because I assume they'll win at the Palooza. That, then I think, and Matt's little brain here, could set us up for War Games. Now, big question to you, please comment below and give me all of your thoughts. Do you think that they will do what I'm thinking, and they probably won't, but I'm thinking a mixed gender War Games match. First time ever. War Games is going to be in a big stadium. They're going to want to pull out all the stops, and the only War Games match as of right now that I feel makes sense is this Vision versus Team Punk. And instead of doing 5v5, they could do a 4v4. They have done this with the Women's War Games, I think 2 years ago. It was a 4v4. Where I think it was Damage Control. They was just the four of them. So they could do that, and they could still have a second War Games match that's maybe all women, and that's a 5v5. I do think that this could be the way, and it gives you that big 3-month-ish program with AJ Lee coming back, going up against the Vision. So you have the Vision with Becky Lynch in there, so there's your team of 4, going up against Punk, AJ Lee, I'm gonna say maybe LA Knight and Roman Reigns, or Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. And Jimmy and Jay, they might have a tag team match at WrestlePalooza. You could do that. But if you want a big star-studded War Games, Roman Reigns teaming again with CM Punk makes things a little interesting. And Roman needs to get his whole win back against the likes of Braun Breaker and the Tsunami Man. That's my pick for War Games, but what about you? So then, as far as I know, the next thing after that is Royal Rumble. Then you got Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, but she's going to be on TV, assuming she's going to be on TV and probably on Raw, I would think, because Punk is on Raw. Maybe they want him floating on both. There's no distinctive brands anymore. Look at Sami Zayn. He just hopped right over to SmackDown and got the US title. So AJ could float around. But what I do hope they do is we get a feud with Roxanne Perez. I think Roxanne versus AJ Lee, AJ mixing it up with Judgment Day a little bit, that's a lot of fun. And I'm saying too, like, I don't want her wrapped up with Punk for her run. Let's get past this War Games and Vision storyline she's in, and hopefully she can pivot away slightly and go on her own path and have her own feuds. Roxanne is one of those names. Roxanne Perez could also pick up the World Heavyweight Championship very, very soon if she's going to be, you know, one of the contenders after the EO Stephanie Vaquer match. I would just like to see the two of them going at it, and then you have Raquel Rodriguez involved there to help out Roxanne, even the odds, and it can be a lot of fun going up against AJ Lee. The next name on the little list, Bayley. Bayley is doing the whole like devil on the shoulder, good side, bad side. She's got thoughts in her head and she doesn't know how to deal with anything. Could take a medication, she probably won't. But she could come back as a big bad guy. Now, I still think that Bayley has a lot that she can work with when it comes to Lyra and even Becky. I thought their feud was excellent and feels like it just kind of ended so they could pivot Becky over with the Seth stuff. And that's fine, but I wish that they would maybe and hopefully roll back around with Bayley and Becky and Lyra, and maybe a new twist with Bayley being more the bad guy. Now, if they don't do that, get Bayley back on TV. A great way to do that is to go up against AJ Lee. If AJ doesn't have a real concrete opponent that makes perfect sense post Becky and Vision, Bayley could be that one that just slides in the ring. You do the hooded thing, get the black hoodie, because that's what they all do, and then she surprise attacks AJ Lee, and then they go at it for a few months, and that could go through the Royal Rumble if they want to have a Saturday Night's Main Event. Depends how many shows that she would actually be on for every PLE. But if she's going to be on regular TV, wrestling fairly often, probably as much as CM Punk is what I would kind of guess here, then we could see Bayley, and that would be an excellent program to get her to Elimination Chamber potentially. Now, what I see as AJ Lee's maybe her WrestleMania opponent, it could be Becky, it could be Bayley. You could do a lot of different options here, but one name I think would work well is Liv Morgan. Depending how Liv comes back. If Liv comes back as a babyface to take down Roxanne, then well, I don't know if that's really gonna work. But if they keep Liv as a heel and she's gonna be toying, because you know they slow burn this Judgment Day stuff. They don't go quick with it. If they keep it slow and they tease the Roxanne, the Judgment Day breakup, the deception there, they have a lot to work with and mine from with that. Really depends how they want to play it, but you know what, even if it's a straight up babyface thing, Liv could come back at the Royal Rumble, she could eliminate AJ Lee, you could try to set up their WrestleMania match, could be for the World Heavyweight Championship, or it just be kind of like a blood feud, even adding in Roxanne in there, make it a triple threat, so you have them all going at it, but somehow, some way, I would hope to see that match, try to get that to be played out. And maybe it's not right now, maybe it is going to be in several months. Another name I'll throw out there that if they get drafted to Raw or SmackDown and they need somebody to go up against that's, I guess, more on the veteran side with AJ Lee, somebody that would do really well, even if it was a one-off match, like their Raw debut, Sol Ruca. I think that she's going to be ready to get called up pretty soon, and everything I see from her in NXT and their shows, I think she does great work. And her against AJ, I don't know if the style so much matter. I just think that would be a really good, like, just exhibition contest to see those two going at it. A fun match that if she went to SmackDown, or again, if they do some drafts and trades for superstars down the road, and I'm thinking even post-Mania, if AJ's still around regularly, I'd like to see her have a program, even if it's a month, going up against Nia Jax. It's the David and Goliath matchup. Big monster versus the small one that's gonna have to overcome the odds. I'd like to see what they would do just to make you keep Nia as this giant, dominant, evil bad guy, and she goes up against AJ Lee. Create some wins and losses. It would be entertaining, I think, to see how could AJ Lee overcome the odds against somebody of the size of Nia Jax. And I know for people out there, they've also put Rhea Ripley on the list. Charlotte Flair could work, but I feel like they're all tied up in their own programs. I don't know how well all of that would kind of translate. I mean, unless they want to do a Rhea versus AJ Lee, just kind of a one-off, I could see them teaming together and getting in a tag team to take on Kabuki Warriors or something like that. And frankly, she's not going to go off and have 50, 100 matches next year or over the course of this year into next. It's going to be pretty limited, and I kind of temper my expectations. I don't think she'll be on Raw and SmackDown wrestling a ton. I think they'll want to keep things special. Have her on TV regularly, get her in backstage segments, whether it is with Punk or when she moves on into her own programs. She's going to do a lot of promo, and it's WWE, and nowadays in 2025, a lot of things with people who make a comeback is big 10-15 minute promos in the ring, so you can see her versus Becky in the ring talking it up and just resulting in brawls, or her versus Bayley or somebody else, but a lot of brawling and a lot of just over the top spectacle leading to the PLE matches, and probably fewer matches on regular TV. So I think they'll probably cherry pick, and you want to keep her special too, much like all of the stars, but it's a tricky balance. When I see regular talent like Cody, Punk, Seth, all of these people, Randy Orton, I enjoy seeing them when they wrestle on TV every week, but they don't. And I've said this in other videos, but it always feels like top stars, main event, big talent like your Codys, your Romans, and so on, they don't wrestle that much. Yeah, sure, they've got other projects, they've got other things going on, but I do sometimes miss the days of old when you would get like an Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle wrestling on SmackDown for 25 minutes every single week. It was a lot of fun, and I miss those days, and I feel like now they swap it out with, okay, let's do a brawl. We get them on TV, they engage, they do some big spot moves, but it's just a brawl, promo segment, breakdown, beatdown. I hope with AJ they do find that balance where keep things special, don't take her off TV for like 3 months, then bring her back, and also don't keep her wrapped up with Punk for the next 6 months. Let's have the Vision feud, and then let's see where we can go from there with some fresh eyes and maybe some fresh feuds. But who do you want to see AJ Lee take on? Becky Lynch, Bayley, what other names are on your list?
I'll see you at WrestlePalooza, bitch.
But if you guys want to talk more WWE, AJ Lee's return on SmackDown, click this video right here as we go in depth the whole episode. Have a great day. See ya.